Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Apologies if you hear fireworks in the background. I'm recording this on the night of the 4th of July. Happy 4th of July, by the way, for those of us that celebrate that. I wanted to make this video today because the last video I made was going over that big article that just dropped about Battlefield 6 and EA and how the development is going. And of course, the response to this article from the Battlefield community and in the comment section of the video that I made is essentially people just saying it's over, Battlefield is done for, EA is just destroying the entire gaming industry, and everything else under the sun. So in this video, I want to take a step back and have a conversation about where I think Battlefield 6 is currently at right now and where it's going to be later on, and I'm going to point out some discrepancies that I noticed between the doom and gloom the article is creating and the massive Battlefield Labs leaks that we're seeing as well. As always, thank you guys for the massive support. You guys are amazing. If you do enjoy the channel, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you plan on following Battlefield 6. And if you've never watched a stream, all the background gameplay is captured live on stream. I stream every single day at twitch.tv/enders and this YouTube channel. All links are in the description. So if you are not up to date with the article I'm referring to, I will link my video going over it in detail in the description. I recommend watching that video first and then coming here. You'll just understand things a little better. The TLDR is EA's a horrible company. I don't really think you need me to tell you that. I'm pretty sure you guys understand that. Some of the developers working on Battlefield 6 are literally taking 8 to 9 months of quote-unquote mental exhaustion leave. Basically, the developers are incredibly time-cramped, overworked, and they just feel like the workload is kind of not achievable. There were multiple quotes in that article from people saying, "We don't think we can do this." The single-player campaign for Battlefield 6 is apparently 2 years behind schedule as a result of the studio that was developing it getting shut down, headed by the co-creator of Halo, Marcus Leto. And the higher-ups at EA are completely and utterly delusional, and they set a completely unrealistic player goal for Battlefield 6 of 100 million players. Since the release of this article, it has been absolutely everywhere on all social media platforms, and the reaction from the Battlefield community is essentially, it's over. Like, we went from seeing Battlefield Labs leaks, people said, we're fucking back, then this article releases, and now it's over. So it's a cycle of, we're back, it's over, we're back, it's over. Some would say nothing ever happens, you know what I mean? But I would like to just point out that while a lot of this stuff, in fact most of the stuff, the article details, is really bad if it turns out to be true, I would just like to point out that Battlefield 6 has not even been officially announced yet. We don't even know what it's called. We're just calling it Battlefield 6 as a placeholder name. In fact, if it weren't for Battlefield Labs leaks, I think the only official glimpse at Battlefield 6 we have gotten so far are screenshots and a 10-second little gameplay reveal thing they released. So if it weren't for people breaking NDAs, we would have barely any footage at all of this Battlefield game. Furthermore, what the article is saying doesn't really match up with what we are seeing with our own two eyes with these leaks. The public reaction to the Battlefield Labs leaks has been overwhelmingly positive, to the point where people were saying, once again, we're back, like Battlefield is back. People were getting that Battlefield feeling from looking at what they're seeing. People really seem to like the audio design. People really seem to enjoy the movement direction. It looks to be a bit more weighty. People like to see the new weapons, right? They like to see all of the new animations and the weapon inspect and the variety. And people seem to like the map design of the things we've seen so far as well. So it's an extremely large contrast. And please keep in mind, the author of this big article, his sources are anonymous. Like, he's essentially just saying, hey, anonymous sources told me this. So don't automatically take this as fact. Is some of it probably true? Absolutely. Some of it is utterly irrefutable, like the fact that they're probably time cramping these developers, and that there are massive cultural tensions between the different studios in Sweden and the United States. I imagine if you're working under a company such as EA, just everything becomes far more difficult to actually do. And then we touch on the single-player news mentioned in the article once again. This is corroborated by a recent campaign leak where it essentially just looked extremely unfinished. That is what the article tells us. But you know what's good? The multiplayer doesn't look extremely unfinished in Battlefield Labs, so if I had to choose, I would choose the single player to be a piece of shit rather than the multiplayer. If I'm just being completely honest with you, like, I don't really care about the single player that much, and I don't think many people should either. I fully understand that a lot of people consider having a campaign in a game as an essential thing. It essentially represents a fully fleshed out AAA product having multiplayer, battle royale, single player, and all of these other things inside of it. But ask yourself this question: would you rather have the multiplayer of Battlefield 6 be 2 years behind, or the single player campaign? I want to bet 99% of you are going to say the single player campaign. One of the biggest takeaways that I've personally drawn from all of this article Fallout is it is essentially just down to how much polish these developers can put onto the game in a given period of time. We don't really know if they're going to delay the game, and the response from a ton of people as a result of this article is, oh my god, it's over, please delay the game. And that's understandable. Like, I totally get it. Unfortunately, hearing a lot of this stuff in the article just sounds like typical Battlefield and exactly what we expect to hear. And I truly do hope there is somebody working on Battlefield 6 in a higher up position that has their head screwed on straight, that can look at where Battlefield 6 is in its development and make the call whether or not to delay it. If they have to push it to 2026, push it to 2026. The first impressions are absolutely 100% essential. If the game is not ready to play on day one, that is all people will ever talk about, and that is all a lot of people will ever remember. Oh yeah, the Battlefield has a new game out. 2042 fucking sucked. Let's take a look at this new one. Oh, it looks like this one sucks too. Guess Battlefield's dead. That's what a lot of people will do. But again, I just really need to hammer this point home. The game has not even been officially fucking revealed. Okay? We don't even know what to call it. And I bet a lot of you would probably consider me to be like one of the most negative Battlefield YouTubers, and I'm sitting here telling you it's just not time to be this negative yet, guys. It's actually not over yet. Trust me, I'll tell you if it's fucking over. I will. You can subscribe to the channel. Guarantee you I will tell you if it's over. But now is not the time. And you know what the funniest part is about this article? It kind of just sounds like a typical Battlefield development. You know what I mean? It's like shit's barely working. Everyone wants to like leave their job. Nothing is being agreed upon. The higher ups are utterly delusional. Yeah, this all sounds exactly like what we're used to. You know, we're honestly back. We're fucking back. The EA CEO set a 100 million player goal from his private island. He probably doesn't even know what Battlefield is. We're so back. But that is going to do it for this video, ladies and gentlemen. Just wanted to put that perspective out there for you real quick. If you enjoyed the channel, pet your dog for me, or your cat. That'd be great. You can join the Discord and post like a picture of that happening as well. That'd be wonderful. All right, I'll see you guys later.